Well, hello, all you beautiful internet peeps out there in the interwebs. This is Tashlan with Charlie the dog and Puddon and Anpye the pussycats. This is the third edition of the Tashlan Talks. This week's topic is going to be about animal intelligence. I am no psychologist, so obviously I'm not going to talk in depth about what intelligence is. Neither am I a philosopher, so no cogito ergo sum, or I think, therefore I am, from me. No, my thoughts stem entirely from my own observations and from the time I get to think about things when I'm walking my dog. And it was actually Charlie that sparked this train of thought for me this week. He displayed to me a very clear example of problem solving. And as we know, problem solving is supposed to be one of the few signs of intelligence. So let me set the scene. I have to explain a little bit about the sleeping arrangements in my house. I sleep in the bedroom upstairs, while downstairs behind a closed door in the living room, the dog and the cats have their beds. There is another door leading from the living room that goes into the kitchen, and from there's a door that opens up into my back garden. And why is all of this relevant? I can almost hear you asking. I shall explain. It was about 5 a.m. the other morning that I woke up with the feeling that I wasn't alone. And anyone who has woken up like that can know that this isn't the most pleasant feeling in the world. So I lay there in the dark, trying to figure out why I'm awake, when I hear the dog whine from inside my bedroom. So this means that he's opened up the living room door and let himself up the stairs. Still feeling a bit groggy and bewildered, I get up to lead him back downstairs to where he belongs. But why did he come up the stairs to wake me up in the first place? He's never done this before, so why now? As I go down the stairs, I have to grab the two lightning-fast cats as I go, because of course his opening of the lounge door has given them the full run of the house too. I ponder his actions as I'm wrestling the wriggling cats and trying to return them to their rightful places. As soon as I get into the lounge, I notice that he's run ahead of me to stand with his nose to the kitchen door. Having been woken up, I realize that my mind wasn't working at top capacity, but even I managed to understand his message, which was very clearly, "Please, let me out." Yawning my head off, I complied with his unspoken request, and he rushed out into the garden to do what he urgently needed to do. It was only later in the day that I took the time to work out the sequence of events that had led to my early morning wake-up call. Obviously, Charlie had needed to go outside. So first of all, he had tried to let himself out by going into the kitchen so he could open the back door and let himself out. The evidence that he's done this is because there's something that's usually hung over the handle of my kitchen door, and that was on the floor. He'd obviously knocked it. But his attempt to open the door failed because the door is locked, and he hasn't so far managed to figure out how to use a key, thank goodness. So his next step was to open the other door, which wasn't locked, so that he can come upstairs and fetch me to open the door for him. This is an example of classic problem-solving skills in action. He had a problem, i.e. he needed to go outside and was barred from doing so. And so he then took the necessary steps in order to achieve that goal. He was not taught how to do this. I can guarantee you I've never sat down with him and explained how to get himself let out of the house. This is something he worked out all for himself. And I have to admit it, I was very impressed with my smart boy. he is not the only one of my co-hosts to show intelligence either. I have seen it in my cats too. I've often heard it said that cats can't be trained. This simply isn't true. They are not necessarily as easy to train as dogs are. This isn't down to their intelligence, but down to how their society works. Dogs are team animals, so they accept there is one leader and they follow directions. Cats are primarily loners, and so they're used to thinking more independently. This notwithstanding, I have still managed to teach my cats the rules of the house. They know that there are certain places they're not allowed to go to, even though they are capable of doing so. I've even seen some remarkable people who've managed to train their cats to do a cat version of a dog agility course. Interesting. So, a cat's failure to learn is probably more a case of our failure to know how to teach them, or even a willingness, rather than a lack of ability on their part. So is intelligence a purely human trait? I very much doubt it. I honestly think that our non-human companions have as much to teach us as we have to teach them. So if you have a furry, feathery, or even scaly friend, see what they can do if you let them. And also have some fun with your companions. My dear internet peeps, I will leave you with this final thought from Stephen Hawking. Intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. Thank you for listening, and may you have a wonderful week. This is Tashlan with Charlie the dog and Puddon and Anpye the pussycats. You know, we love you loads. Peace out, peeps.